Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far, with OpTic Texas last night seemingly confirming when we're going to have the announcement, presumably tomorrow, and also revealing what could well be an image of the new players. We're certainly going to dive into that, but also rumours as to what the Boston Reach are going to do to finalise their team. Rumour says that Capsidal, over all the other SMG options, will be the man to round out their roster. Is this the best decision if they confirm this over the coming days? Very much enjoyed to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. First of all, just a bit of drama again, as always, on the Warzone side. You guys probably know the name Mutex, Daddy Moo Moo, or whatever it used to go by. So, I know this name especially because he used to be a big part of the search and destroy scene back in the day. He joined Dallas Empire as their search and destroy coach, and I think it was late 2019. He said something or other, he got dropped, and then he came out with that classic copy pasta, like, good luck finding anyone better than me. You're not going to find anyone with the passion for search and destroy that I have. Like, realistically speaking, it's a big L for you guys, not gonna lie. You guys know that one. And anyway, since then, Mutex went on to do great things on the Warzone scene, become a massive creator. But there was this guy, Dudeski, or Beamski, or whatever, who says that Mutex basically dropped his teammates just before the World Series of Warzone qualifiers. They then qualified and he didn't, so I guess that's unlucky. There was also the other bit of drama, just because we talked about Scrappy versus Jacob L and all this yesterday, and this was as well noticed, because like Slacked wasn't playing with these guys in the qualifiers, so I'm pretty sure like what TJ's implying here is that Slacked decided to not play with TJ and Scrap in the qualifiers for the World Series of Warzone and play with somebody else instead of these guys, and TJ maybe wasn't so happy with that, and then TJ Scrap didn't end up playing anyway, and Slacks didn't qualify anyway. So there's always some stuff going on there behind the scenes. But we've got to mention this then. So as OpTic say, press start, hashtag the process, premiering Sunday. That of course being tomorrow. So presumably this is what they're going to do. They bring the process out, phenomenally produced every so often, and usually when there's a big announcement happening, the Envy OpTic merger or whatever, even back in the day when like Methods and Octane joined, it was announced at the end of a Vision episode, right? That's usually what they do, and that, you know, I think it makes a lot of sense. So the episode is coming out tomorrow, and here's Shotzzy discussing what happened in the season and what's going to happen going forwards, and presumably at the end of the episode, they're going to be confirming the new roster, whether it's going to be anything spectacular or whether it's just going to be, well, as you saw there, potentially a little bit of a teaser for it. Whether they're just going to show this, zoom out, and then that's it, I hope there's a little bit more to it. But this is what we have to work with. So I guess I'll bring it up on this screen to have a slightly better image of the situation. So obviously when the OpTic fans want them to just spin the chairs around so we can see who these individuals are. Now, I'm actually not sure that this is going to be Pred and Kenny. My theory about this is, like, I don't know if I've seen Dashy wearing this, like, coloured shirt before, but I think this might be Dashy and Shotzzy in some order or another in these chairs. And if you just look on the left-hand side, you'll see that there's a little bit of another monitor here on the left, which kind of shows that there's somebody else to the left, and you can see like an additional desk here to the left and to the right. So this is in the headquarters right in the heart of downtown Dallas or whatever. And yeah, so I'm guessing what they're going to do here is zoom out, and then you're going to see that, like, I don't know, Pred's on the left, Kenny's on the right, or something like that. That's my theory here, unless you guys want to go into like the elbow or like the shoulder analysis and try and figure out whether these players are actually Pred or Kenny respectively. I don't think they are, but I mean, like, honestly, who knows? They're not giving away that much at this point, are they? So anyway, that's what OpTic are going to do. We're hoping that there's going to be something pretty interesting with the announcement, right? Whether they do anything like this, we'll see, because I know that when they announced the merger, there wasn't really much. They did the process episode, and at the end, they did like a small 10-second bit, and then that was it. So I'm hoping that given that they've dragged it out this long, and, you know, they were going to drag it out, I guess, until the next process episode was ready, so fair enough. But I'd be hoping they do something a little bit more interesting than that, because when everyone knows what the roster is anyway, it gets a little bit underwhelming if you just reveal it in a very standard way. Is there any chance that the roster isn't what we think it's going to be? I don't think so, just because I think we'd have heard some rumors elsewhere, you know, like if Pred's going to go there, but if Kenny wasn't going to go there and they were going to get somebody else in, not sure there's even, you know, what else would they do? Unless they bring back Scump, I don't think there's any real better options than Kenny in that role. And if that wasn't to be the case, we'd have heard that Kenny was going to go somewhere else. You know, like Kenny would have been linked to another team by now if he wasn't joining OpTic, I would say. So that probably means that it's solidified, but you never know for sure at the moment. Let's talk Boston Breach then, because they they have to make a decision as well. They confirmed quite a while. I think they had the first confirmation of the offseason, didn't they? With Snoopy confirmed to be coming back to their roster after performing well at the World Championship. Shortly after that, Slasher was confirmed, and then shortly after that, Priestahh was confirmed after all the Subliners drama when they officially released him. We've talked about that over the last several days. Despite the fact, though, that Thieves, they haven't confirmed anything yet, Thieves, but we've heard a solidified roster of 4, that rumoured Ghosty, Cammy, Afro, JoeDeceives team, and we heard the rumoured Minnesota Rokkr team of Accuracy, Lins, Owakening, and Vivid for quite some time now, a few days at least. But Boston, despite having locked things in quite early, didn't have a confirmed 4th player yet. That may well have changed as of last night as CDL Scrim Intel comes out with sources say that Boston Breach is targeting Capsidal to complete their roster. Boston has looked at a number of players, but Capsidal seems the preferred option right now, and other sources have also said that, yeah, this is probably going to happen. It's not for sure. There were a few other options out there, but Capsidal, I think, might make the most sense, and it's kind of confusing to me because I actually look at a lot of the way these rosters are being built, and I think these teams are doing a pretty decent job, which is pretty rare, I think, for me to think. And I'm sure that opinion will change when we get down to, like, what Gorillas are doing, what Vegas are doing, and stuff like this. But of the teams that are the top teams and the teams that are theoretically going to be the contenders or the midfield, or however you want to describe it, I think they're doing a pretty respectable job building these rosters. Now, some of them are going to suck. That's just how it works. But I think the teams on paper are making reasonable decisions. And if I had to choose the best SMG to go alongside the 3 players of Slasher, Priestahh, and Snoopy, Capsidal would probably be the guy that I think I would go for. And that seems to be what Boston are deciding to do. He, of course, was on Boston right last season. This year was on Florida for a time. Capsidal's had a bit of an up and down year, but last year was a really promising player at the start of Vanguard, and I think kind of blurs the line quite well between a player with quite a lot of experience, actually, and a rookie kind of a, like, high-end upside talent, because Capsidal, I think, has more in the tank. Put him with a guy like Slasher and Priestahh, which he's going to be teaming with based on the current rumours. I think they can help Capsidal get the best out of himself and become even better as a player. Very explosive talent, but I still think he's got a lot of upside there, and, you know, he's not exactly a rookie, right? He's played in Vanguard, and he's played now in Modern Warfare 2 as well, so he'll be going into his 3rd year in the CDL, and many players don't even make 2 years, let alone 3 years in the CDL, so obviously shows that he's a promising player, and in the role that he's going to play, I'm not sure there's any better options. It really does depend what you think Snoopy's going to deliver to the team. They're bringing Snoopy in, and we know historically that Slasher doesn't really like, and this is Capsidal's 2022 season on the Boston Breach, but Slasher certainly isn't known for playing with rookies or players without that much experience, right? He doesn't really like to do that generally, and Snoopy is going to be on this team. So it's not like Slasher's going to be like, oh, get Snoopy out of there, because obviously Snoopy's got a lot of upside, and Boston certainly believe that to be the case, and they're going to stick by him, and it might take Snoopy several months, if not an entire season, to get to the point where he can be a real force, but we've seen what he can do at Champs. I was very impressed by his performance. We've seen what he's done in, he got up to speed quite quickly there at the World Championship, right? So they're high on Snoopy, and I do think for good reason. And if you're a team like Boston trying to actually form a roster that can compete, take down the top teams, make championship Sundays, make grand finals, you need one of these players that has upside, and probably multiple players that have upside, but aren't necessarily being given the respect that they might get in the future as they continue to improve. And Capsidal may be a similar player, but it depends what you're going to get from Snoopy, right? Is he going to be a fast, in-your-face, super aggressive SMG, or is he going to play a little bit slower and more in that slaying role? Yes, he has the movement and all this stuff, but I think when you watch Snoopy, like, he's not cracked out of his mind, like, he's not going crazy. I think a lot of the times he's, making good decisions and slowing down a little bit where necessary, which means that partnering him with a very fast-paced SMG, which Capsidal is, I mean, if you guys watched this guy last season, super explosive player, was all over the map, and this season on Florida, yes, the record wasn't great, but still, you see high kills per 10, you see high damage per 10, because he puts pressure on the map. There's no doubt about that when you watch this guy play, and that partnership with Snoopy there could work really well. Now, it's a very interesting combination when you've got two SMGs, Capsidal and Snoopy, that are, kind of not exactly brand new, but they're not got much experience between them. And then on the AR line, you've got Slasher and Priestahh, who, play the game for, almost 10 years each, kind of. I mean, not too far away for either of them. So, it's definitely an interesting dichotomy, but I think you're it can work out pretty well. And I guess you've got to consider some of the other options as well. So on the market, SMGs remaining, Standy would be one. The other one that I think came to mind for a lot of people would be Hook, right? Like, where does Hook go now as a result of this? Because he's not been linked to Thieves, he's not been linked to Rokkr, maybe Seattle Surge, that's a possibility for sure, with Rambo over there, we believe in all this going on. But, you know, the theory would be that maybe Hook and Slasher could have run it back. Now, I wouldn't have massively liked that idea just because I'm not sure that Hook plays in a role. Like, you know what you're going to get from Capsidal. I'm not sure you always know what you're going to get from Hook in terms of how he's going to pair with Snoopy. And also in terms of, you know, decision making and stuff, there is some risk that Snoopy is going to make some questionable decisions. That's the thing with Hook as well. And when Slasher and Hook have teamed up historically outside of Advanced Warfare, when like 2015, when they were pretty good on that Denial team, and they came second and they had some great events and performances between them. Since then, when they've teamed up, World War II Envy, Los Angeles Guerrillas, okay, they won an event on Guerrillas together in Major 2 Vanguard, but I mean, that was a bit of a fluke, let's be honest, crazy events. Outside of that, it's not really worked when Slasher and Hook have teamed, so I think that going another option is probably the correct call. But intrigued to your thoughts, because definitely a tricky one. I think the way they've built their roster is good, but in this final role, like, you'd really like to get, I've said it before, and they did try and get Envoy, right? They tried to get Envoy, and I think that would have been kind of their dream team of Slasher, Priestahh, Snoopy, and Envoy. But, you know, without getting one of those top 8, top 10 SMG players in the game, you've got to go for other options. I think Capsidal might be the best of them. Very much intrigued to your thoughts on that one in the comment section, but just before we close out here, I thought this is very interesting, and we'll see what happens with Drazah in the upcoming season. We're going to discuss Drazah later today unless anything crazy happens, because there's some spicy stuff going on there. But similar to aBeZy, every player that they've played with, they've won something with. It's kind of absurd, actually. So Cellium, they've won 7 events with him. RSTs is 6. Clay, Priestahh, of course, 2 on the United days back in Black Ops 4. Priestahh, Major Maniac on FaZe during the Modern Warfare season, and then even Slasher just teamed with him for 1 season, still won an event at Boston's Major 2. So they don't tend to lose for too long with teammates, and I do wonder like what the expectations are, because I think Drazah said that his expectation is win at least 1 major and the World Championship, right? And if they don't win champs for FaZe, that's a failure. I do wonder, like, you know, okay, let's say there's 5 events plus champs again. Will they go, like, what's a success? Is 1 major, 1 champs a success? Probably. Anything like with champs is a success, to be honest. So, you know, will they, but what's their aim, right? Are they going to go for, like, you know, 2 majors plus champs? Because if you can win half the events of the season, that's pretty good. So I guess that'll be what they're going for, to be honest. But, you know, will they improve over last season? That's a big question. And also, just to mention this, Toronto did a nice video, I thought, with Envoy, looking at around Toronto really on his kind of first day there, pretty much. And look, we talked about whether Toronto were running out of money, or all these teams are running out of money and all this stuff, but look, they still had the cash to fund this helicopter ride they did around the city, so hopefully they're not running out of money anytime soon. But very much intrigued to your perspective in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.